Lieutenant General, former Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, Jerry Boykin, is with us. Rob D'Amico, 35 years with the FBI counterterrorism team, served in Afghanistan with U.S. Special Forces, is with us as well. General, Federico Quadrani, my executive producer, said, I almost feel like the Israelis are walking into a trap right now. The flip side is, I don't think they have a choice but to walk into the trap, and they know that.
Yeah, they've been at this for a long time, and they fought in Gaza multiple times. They've been in there at least 5 or 6 times, so they know what they're getting into. Now, you can never tell exactly where ambushes may be set, booby traps may be set, things that will throw you off your game. But nonetheless, they have to do this. They absolutely have to do this. And I think a lot of what you've been seeing in there in the last 48 hours has been the reconnaissance that is required to find them and allow us to bring them home. And I, having spent time with them over there and lived with them in the Golani Brigade, their recon company, which was their counter-terror unit, I can tell you that they learn as they go, and they will be ready. But that is
General,
not.
I don't know if you're able to see the return video. The video we just showed is of a Hamas drone dropping ordnance vertically down onto a Merkava tank, which is the most vulnerable part, as you know, of any tank. And I think about sort of the street scenes of Gaza, and this is one of 150 streets just like this inside Gaza City. They've got tunnels underneath, obviously, to be able to move their fighters around, called the Gaza Metro, and pop up. You've got snipers' nests in each one of these large buildings. A lot of those now are going to be equipped with Iranian-made anti-tank weapons. I'm wondering, you said that the Israelis have been into Gaza a lot. But if you're an Israeli commander heading in tonight, if you're going across the Rubicon, if you will, into that no man's land, do you really, with confidence, know everything that Hamas has to throw at you?
Absolutely not. And Hamas, and that's by design, Hamas has made a lot of changes in there just based on their previous contacts with the Israelis.
Yeah, Rob, we saw the video of the Israelis beginning to start operating inside of Gaza. They tried for 5 years to get Gilad Shalit back. One soldier inside of Gaza to get operational intel on where he was being held and go rescue him. They couldn't. You've got 130 hostages. Hamas has been planning this for years. They've got the underground tunnel system. As you're listening to the Israelis, who are the best in the world at hostage rescue, they're not talking about hostage rescue. They're talking about eliminating Hamas. What does that tell you?
Well, I mean, they have a priority, and they're not going to put hostages in the way of the ultimate goal that they're going to have. But they are still going to try to rescue them. And it gets tough in a wartime. If you saw, like when we went into Afghanistan, we had some of our special mission units do a couple hostage rescues where they knew people were at so that they got out of the fight. In Iraq, when we were trying to do hostage rescues in the middle of combat, it gets a lot more dicey because, one, we've killed hostages unknowingly in operations on drone strikes and other military ops. So you're going to have to fold that all into a very blatant invasion, and it's going to get complicated. But Hamas knows that those hostages are shields, that people are going to start slowing up when they think they have a location and then maybe try to do a hostage rescue that, in fact, is a trap. And that would be my biggest surprise. They know what Israelis going to do, and that tells me that they have a plan for it.
What do you think, General? What do you make, General, of the conversation so often about this proportionality, war crimes, restraint rather, resolve rather than revenge must be by international law, the American rhetoric towards the Israelis even ahead of the invasion?
Yeah, Leland, that is one of the things that irritates me about as much as anything that I can think of, is after a situation like this, you have people asking the Israelis, demanding the Israelis to use proportionality as they respond to this, and this is really foolish. And if the Israelis were even thinking about it, I would be surprised. They're not going to use proportionality. They're going to stop the snake. They're going to cut the head off, and that is what they ought to do.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.